I want you to consider for a moment the two ways a life can be built, two distinct forms of architecture. The first is the one our culture celebrates. It is the architecture of the grand gesture. It is the story of the lottery winner, the overnight sensation, the viral star. It is the dramatic, heroic, single leap that changes everything in an instant. It is exciting. It is cinematic. It makes for a wonderful story. And it is, for the vast majority of us, a complete and total illusion. We spend our lives waiting for this grand gesture, this single moment of breakthrough, and in doing so we fail to see the quiet, reliable, and infinitely more powerful force that is available to us every single day. This brings us to the second way a life is built. It is the one we are here to discuss today. It is the architecture of the small. This architecture is not built on grand gestures, but on seemingly insignificant daily choices. It is not glamorous, it is not dramatic, but it is the unseen force behind every lasting success, every great fortune, and every life of deep fulfillment. It is the architecture of the single drop of water that, over time, can wear away stone. It is the architecture of the single brick, laid perfectly, day after day, that eventually builds a cathedral. Today, we are going to turn away from the seductive myth of the grand gesture. We are going to explore the profound, unstoppable power of the small. We will dissect the universal law that governs how these small actions create monumental results. And we will identify the single most critical battlefield where this law can be applied to completely transform the trajectory of your life. This is the philosophy of the small. It is the foundational truth upon which all else is built. Before we can talk about any specific habit, we must first understand the invisible engine that gives these habits their power. If you can truly grasp this one principle, you will see the world in a new light. This is the universal law of compounding action. Most of us have a passing familiarity with the idea of compound interest when it relates to our finances. You invest a sum of money, it earns interest, and tomorrow you earn interest on your original sum and on the interest from yesterday. In the beginning, this growth is agonizingly slow. It feels insignificant. $100 becomes $105. It is easy to dismiss. But over the course of 20, 30, or 40 years, that slow, patient accumulation explodes into a fortune. It is a force of exponential growth. Now, here is the secret that the architects of great lives understand. This law is not limited to money. It is a universal principle that governs every area of your existence. Your habits, your knowledge, your health, your relationships, they all operate under the exact same law. Every choice you make is a deposit or a withdrawal, and every day interest is calculated. Let us trace the path of two different individuals to see this law in action. Consider the first individual. Today, they choose to read 10 pages of a good book. It is a small, simple act. It seems insignificant, but that knowledge is a deposit. Tomorrow, when they read 10 more pages, they are not just adding new knowledge, they are connecting it to the knowledge from yesterday. The ideas begin to cross-pollinate, new insights are formed. This is the interest. After a year of this small daily habit, they have not just read a few books. They have fundamentally reshaped their mind. They have built an intellectual framework that allows them to see the world with more clarity and make better decisions. The knowledge has compounded. Now let's look at their health. Today they choose to go for a 15-minute walk instead of sitting on the couch. A small, simple act. The next day they have slightly more energy because of that walk, which makes the next walk a little easier. Their sleep improves slightly, which gives them more mental clarity. This clarity makes it easier to resist the temptation of an unhealthy snack. Do you see the upward spiral? One small positive habit does not just add to your life, it multiplies its effect by fueling other positive habits. This is the upward spiral of virtue. Conversely, consider the second individual. Today, they choose to hit the snooze button just once. A small, seemingly harmless act. But this starts their day in a state of procrastination and reaction. They are rushed. They grab a sugary pastry for a quick energy boost. This leads to a midday energy crash, which causes them to skip their planned exercise. Because they are tired and feeling irritable, they get into a small, unnecessary argument with a loved one. They go to bed stressed, sleep poorly, and wake up the next day even more likely to hit the snooze button again. This is the downward spiral of neglect. It is the compounding effect working in reverse. One small negative choice does not just subtract from your life, it multiplies its damage by making the next negative choice more likely. This is the profound and sobering truth of this law. The difference between success and failure, between a life of fulfillment and a life of regret, is rarely the result of a single catastrophic event. It is the result of the barely perceptible trajectory of your small daily choices compounded over time. Now, the great challenge of this law, and the reason most people fail to harness it, is the deception of the early stages. When you begin a new positive habit, the results are almost invisible. The curve of compounding growth is, at first, a flat line. You work out for a week and you see no change. You save money for a month and your account has barely grown. You read every day for 2 weeks and you don't feel like a genius. This is the great filter. This is the plateau of latent potential. It is the period where all the important work is being done beneath the surface, but it has not yet reached the critical mass required for a visible breakthrough. This is where most people quit. They mistake the lack of immediate results for a lack of progress. You must have the wisdom and the foresight to trust the law. You must understand that on that flat line you are not stagnating. You are building pressure. You are building a root system. You are making the deposits that will inevitably lead to the exponential explosion of growth. Your job is not to look for the result today. Your job is to make the deposit today. If we accept this universal law of compounding action, the next logical question is, where is the single most powerful place to apply it? Where can we find the highest point of leverage to influence the entire trajectory of our day and by extension our life? The answer is unequivocal. It is in the first hour after you wake up. The morning is the rudder of the day. A tiny 1-degree shift in the rudder of a massive ship will, over the course of a long voyage, result in a destination hundreds of miles apart from its original course. Your morning is that rudder. The small, intentional habits you practice in that first hour will determine whether your day sails toward the shores of productivity and peace or drifts into the waters of reaction and chaos. We must first understand the default state. The default state for most people is to begin their day in a state of reaction. The alarm, an instrument of panic, jolts them from sleep. Their very first conscious act is often to reach for their phone. Let us analyze what happens in that moment. You are, in effect, opening the floodgates and allowing the priorities, the anxieties, the opinions, the anger, and the demands of the entire world to come rushing into your mind before you have even had a moment to find your own center. You are consuming before you have had a chance to create. You are listening to 100 other voices before you have had a chance to listen to your own. You are immediately put on the defensive, responding to emails, reacting to news, scrolling through the curated lives of others. You have lost the battle for your day in the first 5 minutes. The architect of an extraordinary life understands that this first hour is sacred ground. It is non-negotiable. This is the time you invest in yourself before you give yourself to the world. I call this forging the rudder of the day. It is built on 3 simple pillars. The first pillar is awakening the body. This is not about a grueling hour-long workout. It is about a gentle transition from rest to readiness. It begins with the simplest act of all, a large glass of water. Your body, after 8 hours, is in a state of dehydration. Water is the spark that awakens your cells, flushes your system, and hydrates your brain. Following this, engage in 5 to 10 minutes of light movement. Simple stretching, a few push-ups, a short walk. The goal is not to exhaust yourself, but to get your blood flowing and to connect with your physical self. You are honoring the vessel that will carry your ambitions through the day. The second pillar is centering the mind. Having awakened the body, you must now quiet the mind. In a world of constant noise, the ability to cultivate inner silence is a superpower. This is where you practice reflection for 10 to 15 minutes. This is not a time for planning, but for presence. It could be a simple meditation practice, focusing only on your breath. It could be prayer, or it could be journaling, a free-flowing brain dump to clear out the mental clutter from the previous day. The goal here is to create a clean, quiet, mental slate upon which you can intentionally design your day. The third and final pillar is directing the will. Now that your body's awake and your mind is centered, it is time to give your day its orders. This is the act of proactive planning. Take out a simple physical notebook, not a screen, and define your victory for the day. Ask yourself 2 questions. What is the single most important task I must accomplish today to move closer to my vision? And what kind of person do I want to be today? Write down your 1 keystone task. And write down 3 words that will define your character for the day, perhaps patient, focused, present. That is it. Awaken the body, center the mind, direct the will. This entire routine may take no more than 30 minutes, but its effect is immeasurable. You have replaced the chaos of reaction with the calm of intention. You have built a launch pad for a productive and purposeful day. And so this is the philosophy of the small. It is the understanding that the great wall of your life is built 1 single small brick at a time. It is the wisdom to know that the universal law of compounding action will magnify your daily choices, for better or for worse, into your ultimate destiny. And it is the practical application of this law at the highest point of leverage, the first hour of your day. We have spoken of grand laws and profound philosophies, but the entire journey, the entire architectural project, always begins with the first step. It begins with the power of 1. I am not asking you to overhaul your entire life tonight. That is the path to overwhelm and failure. I am asking you to make 1 single small choice. I am asking you to make your first deposit. Do not try to build the entire wall. Just focus on laying 1 single brick perfectly. Perhaps that 1 brick is the choice to place a glass of water by your bed tonight, ready for the morning. Perhaps it is the choice to set your alarm just 15 minutes earlier than usual. Perhaps it is the choice to leave a notebook and a pen on your kitchen table, ready for your morning planning. Choose one. Just 1 small, simple, positive action. Because the future is not built in the grand, abstract expanse of someday. The future is built in the granular, tangible reality of your days. And the quality of your days is determined by the quality of your habits. Go and lay your first brick. In our last session, we did the profound work of the mind. We established the philosophy of the small. We came to understand the quiet, unstoppable power of compounding action. And we learned how to seize control of our destiny by mastering the rudder of the day, the first sacred hour of the morning. We have built our foundation of thought, but a foundation buried deep in the earth provides no shelter. A philosophy, no matter how insightful, does not put food on the table or build a future. The time has now come to build upon that foundation. We must construct the visible framework of our lives. We must cross the bridge from inner philosophy to outer action. Today we will discuss the daily disciplines. These are not vague concepts. They are concrete practices. They are the load-bearing walls and support beams of a well-built life. They are the tangible expression of the philosophy we have established. We will focus on 3 fundamental disciplines that, when practiced with consistency, create an unshakable structure for success. First, the discipline of singular focus, the art of applying your full power to a single point. Second, the discipline of financial stewardship, the practice of building a life of freedom and options. And third, the discipline of physical vitality, the non-negotiable act of fueling the very engine of your ambition. These are the mechanics of a life lived by design. Let us now learn how to build. The first discipline we must master is the one that has become the rarest and therefore the most valuable skill in the 21st century. It is the discipline of singular focus. We are living in an age that wages a relentless war on our attention. We are drowning in a sea of information, battered by waves of notifications, and pulled in 1,000 directions by the currents of distraction. In this environment, the person who can cultivate the ability to concentrate deeply on a single important task is the person who will produce results of the highest quality and value. We have been sold a dangerous myth, the myth of multitasking. We have been told it is a sign of efficiency. It is not. It is a sign of fractured attention. It is the act of doing many things poorly while giving the illusion of progress. Let me offer you this analogy. Your mind is a source of immense energy, like the sun. When the sun's light is scattered across the earth, it provides gentle warmth. It is pleasant, but it has no concentrated power. But if you take that same sunlight and focus it through a magnifying glass onto a single point, it becomes a laser. It can create intense heat. It can burn through paper. It can start a fire. Singular focus is your mental magnifying glass. Multitasking is scattered sunlight. When you attempt to write an important email while checking text messages and half listening to a conference call, you are scattering your mental energy. Your brain is forced into a state of constant context switching, and each switch, no matter how brief, comes with a cost. It leaves behind what scientists call attention residue. A part of your mind is still thinking about the last task, preventing you from giving your full capacity to the current one. The result is shallow, mediocre, and exhausting work. The practice of singular focus is a rebellion against this norm. It is a simple three-part discipline. First, you must define the target. As we learn in our morning routine, you must know what your most important task is. Clarity is the prerequisite for focus. Second, you must create a sanctuary. For a set period of time, perhaps 60 minutes, perhaps just 25 to start, you create a sacred space free from all distraction. This is non-negotiable. Your phone is not just on silent, it is in another room. All unnecessary tabs on your computer are closed. The door is shut. You create an environment where the only possible action is to work on the target you have defined. This is not a restriction, it is a liberation from the tyranny of distraction. Third, you must practice one-touch execution. When you engage with a task, especially a small one like an email, handle it once and completely. Make the decision. Delegate the action. Respond to the query. Delete the message. Do not open it, read it, and then close it to be dealt with later. Each time you do this, you create an open loop in your mind, a piece of unfinished business that silently drains your mental energy. Practice this discipline daily. You will discover a level of productivity and clarity you thought was impossible. You will produce work of a higher caliber in less time. You will not just be busy, you will be effective. You will stop being the scattered warmth of the sun and become the focused power of the laser. With our focus sharpened, we now turn to the discipline that builds the framework of our security and our opportunities. We must discuss the discipline of financial stewardship. For too many, the topic of money is fraught with negative emotions, fear, anxiety, guilt, confusion. We must reframe this. Money is not good or evil. It is a tool. It is a magnifier. And your ability to manage it with wisdom and discipline will determine the number of options you have in your life. Financial stewardship is the architecture of freedom. This discipline does not begin with complex investment strategies. It begins with a simple, profound shift in mindset. You must see yourself not as a mere earner and spender, but as the faithful steward of the resources that flow through your life. It is an act of profound respect for the life energy you exchange to earn that money. This stewardship is built on three foundational habits. The first is the habit of awareness. You cannot manage what you do not measure. For the next 30 days, you must track every single dollar that leaves your possession. This is not to judge yourself, but simply to gather data. This act of awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. For the first time, you will see clearly where your resources are going. You will discover the leaks, the small compounding expenses that are draining your financial power. The second is the habit of intention. Once you have awareness, you must create a plan. This is a budget. A budget is not a financial diet of deprivation. A budget is a spending plan. It is you, the architect, giving every dollar a job to do. Some dollars are assigned the job of paying for your housing. Some are assigned the job of buying your food. And most importantly, some are assigned the very special job of building your future. This leads to the third and most powerful habit, the cornerstone of all wealth creation: pay yourself first. This is a non-negotiable law. Before you pay your rent, before you pay for groceries, before you pay a single bill, the very first transaction you make when you get paid is a transfer of a portion of that money, 10%, 15%, whatever you can start with, into a separate account designated for your future. An account for savings, for investments, for freedom. This single act is a profound declaration. You are telling yourself and the world that your future security and your future opportunities are a higher priority than your immediate expenses. You are investing in your future self before you give your money to anyone else. To make this discipline easier, automate it. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account the day you get paid. This removes emotion and daily willpower from the equation. You are building a system for success, not relying on fleeting feelings. Understand the two purposes of money. The first is defensive, to build a wall of security around yourself and your family. This is your emergency fund, your insurance. The second is offensive, to build a bridge of opportunity into the future. These are your investments, the resources that will allow you to seize opportunities, start a business, or design a life with more freedom. Master this discipline of stewardship. It will replace financial anxiety with financial peace. And that peace of mind is a priceless asset that will free up your mental energy to focus on all other areas of your life. We have disciplined our focus. We have disciplined our finances. Now we must discipline the very source of our energy. We must address the discipline of physical vitality. Let me be clear. This is not the last pillar. It is the most fundamental. All the focus, all the financial planning, all the ambition in the world are utterly useless if you do not have the physical and mental energy to execute your plans. Your health is not just another part of your life. It is the platform upon which your entire life is built. It is the engine that powers the architect. A high-performance life requires a high-performance engine. And just like any engine, it requires disciplined maintenance and high-quality fuel. The law of compounding action applies here more powerfully than anywhere else. One good night's sleep does not make you healthy, but a month of them transforms your cognitive function. One salad does not make you thin, but a year of them can rebuild your body from the cellular level up. The discipline of vitality is not about extreme diets or punishing workout regimens. It is about a few simple, non-negotiable fundamentals practiced with relentless consistency. The first is the discipline of sleep. We have come to view sleep as a luxury, a necessary evil to be minimized. This is a catastrophic error. Sleep is the most potent performance-enhancing tool you have at your disposal. It is during sleep that your body repairs itself, your brain consolidates memories, and your willpower is replenished. To consistently get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep is not an act of laziness. It is an act of high-performance strategy. The second is the discipline of hydration. The human body is primarily water. Your brain function, your energy levels, and your overall health are directly tied to your hydration status. Most feelings of fatigue and mental fog are simply the first signs of dehydration. Make a simple rule. Before you have your morning coffee, drink a large glass of water. Carry a water bottle with you throughout the day. This simple free habit will have a more profound impact on your daily energy than you can possibly imagine. The third is the discipline of movement. Your body was not designed to be sedentary. It was designed to move. You do not have to become a marathon runner. The goal is simple, daily movement. A brisk 30-minute walk each day is one of the most powerful things you can do for your physical and mental health. It generates energy. It clears the mind. It reduces stress. Do not think of it as exercise. Think of it as a mandatory meeting with yourself to generate the energy you need for your ambitions. These three disciplines, sleep, hydration, and movement, are the foundation. They are simple, but they are not easy. They require you to prioritize your long-term vitality over short-term comfort. They are the daily deposits into your most valuable asset, your health. And so we have the three great daily disciplines, the structural pillars of a well-built life: the discipline of singular focus, the discipline of financial stewardship, the discipline of physical vitality. You must see that these are not separate. They are a deeply interconnected, self-reinforcing system. Your vitality fuels your ability to maintain focus. It is easy to concentrate when you are well rested and energized. Your focus is the tool that allows you to produce the value that improves your finances. And your finances, when managed with wisdom, provide the peace and security that allow you to invest time and resources back into your vitality. It is an upward spiral. Each discipline supports and strengthens the others. This is the framework built upon the foundation of our philosophy. This is the daily work. This is the architecture in action. Your task is not to master all of them overnight. Your task is to choose one, just one, and begin to practice it with relentless consistency. Lay one brick of this framework perfectly. Then lay another. This is how a life of strength, of freedom, and of power is built. We have now established the disciplines that build the structure of a successful life. If these foundational principles of focus, stewardship, and vitality resonate with you, and you are committed to the journey of becoming the architect of your own life, I invite you now to subscribe to this channel. By doing so, you are joining a community of builders. You ensure that you will not miss the final and most crucial part of our architecture, the mindset of the architect, where we learn how to ensure this structure we build lasts for a lifetime. Now, with our framework in place, let us install the mindset that will make it endure. In our journey together, we have laid a powerful foundation. We have embraced the philosophy of the small, understanding that the greatest of lives are built upon the accumulation of seemingly insignificant daily choices, magnified by the universal law of compounding action. We have since constructed the visible framework. We have learned the daily disciplines of singular focus, of sound financial stewardship, and of relentless physical vitality. We have built the hardware of a successful life. The structure is sound. The walls are strong. But a magnificent structure with no one to inhabit it, no intelligence to guide it, is just an empty monument. The most powerful computer in the world is useless without the proper software. This brings us to our final and most crucial area of work. We must now install the operating system. We must cultivate the mindset that will inhabit this structure, that will ensure it does not just stand, but that it continues to grow, to adapt, and to reach ever higher. This is the mindset of the architect. It is the software that runs the hardware of your habits. It is the lifelong commitment that ensures your success is not a fleeting season, but a permanent reality. This mindset is comprised of two final master habits that govern all others. First, the habit that fuels your evolution, the discipline of lifelong learning. And second, the habit that steers your journey, the discipline of radical self-accountability and daily reflection. Master these two, and you will have done more than just build a successful year. You will have become the master architect of a successful life. Let us first explore the engine of all personal evolution. It is the habit of cultivating an architect's mind through lifelong learning. There is a simple but life-altering maxim that you must adopt as your own. Your formal education will make you a living. Your self-education will make you a fortune. The day you finish your formal schooling is not the end of your education. It is the beginning of your real education. It is the moment you transition from being a passive recipient of information to an active seeker of wisdom. You must understand this fundamental truth. The person you are today, with your current level of knowledge, your current skills, and your current philosophy, has created the exact life you are living right now. If you are satisfied with that life, then no more growth is necessary. But if you desire more, if you have a vision for a grander future, then it is an absolute necessity that you become more. Success is not something you pursue. It is something you attract by the person you become. Therefore, the central project of your life is not the accumulation of things, but the development of yourself. The primary habit is to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So how does the architect cultivate this habit of lifelong learning? They enroll themselves in 3 essential permanent classrooms. The first classroom is the classroom of knowledge. This is primarily the world of books. You must become a reader, a serious reader. Books are a miracle. They are the condensed wisdom of the greatest minds who have ever lived. For a few dollars, you can have a private conversation with a philosopher, a titan of industry, a master of history. Someone spent 30 years of their life learning a painful lesson, and they will give you that lesson in a book for the price of a lunch. What an incredible bargain. Do not read passively. Read actively. Read with a pen in your hand. Underline, question, argue in the margins. Your goal is not to get through 100 books. Your goal is to let one great idea from one book get through to you. One idea, fully understood and applied, can be worth a fortune. Build a personal library. Let it be a reflection not of who you are, but of who you are aspiring to become. The second classroom is the classroom of observation. You must become a student of the human experience. This has two parts. First, you must seek out mentors and positive associations. You must find people who are further along the path and learn from them, ask thoughtful questions, and then listen. Listen with an intensity that is rare in this world. But you must also learn from failure. Study the mistakes of others so that you do not have to make them all yourself. When a business fails, when a team falls apart, do not gossip. Study, ask why. There is as much wisdom in a spectacular failure as there is in a brilliant success. The third and most personal classroom is the classroom of introspection. This is the classroom of your own mind, accessed through the habit of journaling. We will speak more on this shortly. The daily commitment to visit these three classrooms, to read from a book, to learn from another person's experience, and to reflect on your own, is the master habit of the architect's mind. It is how you ensure that the person you are tomorrow is wiser, more capable, and more valuable than the person you are today. This is not just a habit, it is the engine of your becoming. This brings us to the final and perhaps most powerful discipline. It is the habit that integrates all the others. It is the control system that ensures the entire structure is sound and stays on course. It is the practice of looking into the architect's mirror through daily reflection and accountability. At the end of each day, most people simply let the day end. It fades into the past, a blur of activity, its valuable lessons unharvested. The day is over, but the experience has been wasted. The architect, however, understands that the last few moments of the day are among the most valuable. This is the time for the daily review. This is the CEO's end-of-day meeting with the most important member of the team themselves. This is not a complicated process. It can take as little as 15 minutes, but it is a non-negotiable act of self-awareness and course correction. You must find a quiet space, open your journal, your book of personal history, and look into the mirror of your own actions by asking three profound questions. The first question is, what went well today and why? This is a critical first step. You must acknowledge your progress. You must celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Did you stick to your morning routine? Did you conquer your hardest task? Did you keep a promise to yourself? By identifying what you did right and why it worked, you are reinforcing the very behaviors you wish to turn into habits. This is not an act of ego, it is an act of intelligent reinforcement. It builds momentum and cultivates a sense of gratitude and self-efficacy. The second question is, where did I fall short and what is the lesson? This requires brutal honesty but not brutal judgment. This is not an opportunity for self-criticism. It is an opportunity for objective analysis. Where did you deviate from your plan? Did you give in to a distraction? Did you react with impatience when you had intended to be patient? Own it. Do not make excuses. Do not blame others. Simply identify the misstep. And then, most importantly, extract the lesson. What was the trigger? What was the flawed thinking? What could you do differently in a similar situation tomorrow? This is how you transform a mistake from a source of regret into a source of wisdom. A mistake that you do not learn from is a mistake you are destined to repeat. This leads to the essence of this entire practice, which is accountability. Accountability is not punishment. Accountability is the highest form of self-respect. It is the recognition that you are the primary creative force in your own life. It is the adult decision to own your choices and your results, both good and bad. When you are truly accountable to yourself, you exit the world of blame and excuses. You exit the world of victimhood. You step fully into your power as the architect. The third and final question is, based on these lessons, what is my plan for tomorrow? This is where reflection turns into intention. You close the loop. You take the wisdom gained from looking back and you immediately apply it to the plan for moving forward. This ensures that you do not just get older, you get better. It guarantees that your days do not just pass by in a blur, they build upon one another in a steady upward climb. This simple 15-minute habit of looking in the architect's mirror is the master key. It is the ultimate expression of living an intentional life. It is the discipline that ensures all the other disciplines stay sharp, effective, and aligned with your ultimate vision. And so, we have come to the end of our blueprint. We started with the profound philosophy of the small, the unseen power of compounding action. We built upon it with the daily disciplines of focus, stewardship, and vitality. And now we have installed the mindset of the architect, the commitment to lifelong learning, and the unwavering discipline of self-accountability. The structure is complete. The great secret you must now understand is this: the ultimate purpose of all this work, of all these small habits, is not simply to acquire the trappings of a successful life. The ultimate purpose is the person you become in the process. The real prize is not the finished wall. It is the strength, the skill, and the character you forged by laying each brick perfectly day after day. Your life, when you look back upon it years from now, will be nothing more and nothing less than the sum of your days. The quality of your life will be the average quality of your daily habits. So do not be overwhelmed by the grand vision of the cathedral you wish to build. That can be intimidating. Instead, fall in love with the simple, humble, and powerful act of laying one single brick perfectly today. Focus on winning today. Master your morning. Conquer your most important task. Keep your promises to yourself. Learn one new thing. And at the end of the day, look in the mirror and learn the lesson. If you can do that today, and then find the courage to do it again tomorrow, and the day after that, the law of compounding action will take over. And you will look up one day, years from now, and you will find yourself standing in the shade of a magnificent life that you, the architect, have built with your own two hands, one small, disciplined day at a time. The blueprint is yours. The tools are in your hands. The time is now. Go and lay your first brick. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first single step. To continue this journey with us and to explore more deep principles for a life by design, I invite you to subscribe and become a part of our community. And I leave you with a question to begin your work. What is the one small habit you will commit to starting tomorrow? Share your commitment in the comments below. Let's begin building together. Thank you for your time and your commitment to your own growth. I look forward to seeing you again.